Welcome to the Uruguayan city of Fray Bentos, where I arrived here late yesterday after a 4.5 hour bus journey from Montevideo to this bus station right here. Now, Fray Bentos, unfortunately, is not budget friendly for my budget. The hotels are expensive, but I've managed to find an Airbnb where I'm staying, which is just further up here, for £29 a night. It's basic, it's decent. I got a good night's sleep last night, but so far I'm enjoying the city. Now, if you're British, you'll know the name Fray Bentos, and that is because of the Fray Bentos pies, which is sold in every single supermarket in the UK. Now, that is because this place produced tinned corned beef and then send it all the way back to Europe. It was a British company, and the factory where it was made is right on the riverbank down here. Now, unfortunately, it's closed now. It's ceased productions, but the factory itself is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hello. Friendly dogs. Don't you just love them? So I am going to have a walk down to the factory, because it is now a museum, and this place is very proud of it. Now, at the bus station itself, there is a tourist information office where I've just been. The guy was so helpful, giving me a map of the whole city to go around, is pointed out all the things I need to see. The first place he pointed out was the factory itself, and then other places as well. The history of the city is built on the factory itself. So in the late 1800s and half of the 20th century, the tinned corned beef made in this place was feeding half of Europe. In the Second World War and the First World War, the ration packs of soldiers would have Fray Bentos corned beef tinned, made in this place. And it got so rich, this place, that at one point the Uruguayan peso was stronger than the US dollar. I'm fascinated by this place. Now, I only found it when I was looking on a map, looking at places where to go to in Uruguay, and I just saw Fray Bentos. That's a pie in UK. The city itself has a population of about 26,000, so it's not a small place. And I did come out last night to have a little wander around without my camera. It's very sociable at night. Well, there's so many cafes, restaurants open. It was just a really nice evening, and I did have my usual arrive in a place. What do I eat? Pizza. Expensive. Oh my god. But I'm getting used to Uruguay, even though I've only got about a week left in the country, which is a shame, because I've really enjoyed myself exploring Uruguay. So I just went past a square where they had a guy with a speaker blasting out music, but I took a quick shot of what it was. It's just locals in the sunshine on a Saturday morning, just enjoying, tapping their feet to the music. But the main square is further on down here. Now, this is the main street with all the shops. For a small city, it seems to be a very busy area. This time of the morning, didn't expect to see a lot of people, much traffic. especially the Saturday morning. And I am now coming to somewhere the tourist information guide told me to come to, and this is the main square just round the corner. He just went, the church is there, there's a bandstand there, right, cross this road. And a fascinating fact I found out last night was the bandstand here is a replica of the one that's in Crystal Palace in London. And that's it there. Wow. So at the time there was so much wealth coming into the city. So they built theatres, stuff like that. I mean, this place is quiet compared to the rest of it. Now, I've never been to Crystal Palace in London, so I've no idea if that is a replica. And then there's the church there. And this is the church. Quite simple design. 1917. See so on that little sign there. I'm not going to bother going in. There seems to be a bit of work going on. So you're probably thinking, British pies called Fray Bentos. What's the link? So, in 1965, a German chemist called Justus von Liebig was in London, started a company that extracted beef, but he realised that he needed a lot of cows and he needed cheap labour. So he came to Uruguay and he started the meat extraction in a factory here that he built with British money, which later became OXO cubes. But in 1973, the factory started producing tinned corned beef specifically for the British market, and the technology in them days with tinned meat was revolutionary, and it was well sold, really well sold, which meant the factory got bigger, and that's how the money started rolling in. Now this is another place I was told to go to, the theatre. Close up of the theatre, and the sign itself just says 1810, 1960, Pueblo de Fray Bentos. Now the reason they called the products going to Great Britain Fray Bentos was the fact it sounded exotic. So it's named after the city itself. Right, let's cross this road. And when you think that half the British troops were being fed in Europe from a factory that I will be going to later on, but it is further that way, it's just mind-boggling. And they reckon that in 1943 there was estimated 16 million cans of corned beef leaving this place. When I was talking to the tourist guy, I did say, do you get many British people coming here? And he went, no. They get more Canadians for some reason. As I come further down the main street, it gets a little bit quieter. The main park, or the main square, is behind me. But you can just see in the distance the river. And that's another reason why they picked Fray Bentos for building the factory here. I mean, I really do like this city. After the hustle and bustle of Montevideo, it's nice just to come somewhere quieter. And there it is. Now, a lot of the street names around here are named after countries nearby. Paraguay, I do believe Brazil is the next street. Well, traffic's picked up a bit. 2 cars. So there's the river there. But just have a quick look at this. This is the park. Well, it's quite pretty. So they realised if they needed to build a factory that was going to be going back to Europe, not only would they need plenty of cows, plenty of cheap labour, but they needed somewhere to get back to Europe. And this mighty River Uruguay was the answer. And that leads all the way to the Atlantic and then straight on to Europe. And now there's a lot of midges around. Wow, this is an amphitheatre that leads to a mini stage. I mean, the amphitheatre looks quite big, doesn't it? But this is the front. And I'm hoping to see a bit of the factory for the very first time, because it's over that direction there. And there it is. Get a bit closer. You can just make out, I don't know if you can, but right on the edge of the building it's got the words Anglo. Wow. Oxo came from there. So did Fray Bentos pies. Or corned beef. The Rambler is quite decent. I mean, what I would call a promenade. It goes on for a long distance. I mean, the factory is still a fair distance away, but as you come along, there's cute little parks, little barbecue areas. You can do some cooking. Parks on that side, and it's just a really nice walk. And I've got the weather. I think I'm about 10 minutes away from the factory, and I've come across CA Anglo. So this is the football club, and I'm assuming it is because there's a stadium over there with CA Anglo on the side, and then behind this bush in the middle of the roundabout is a footballer. You can just make him out there. So the British influence even extended to the football team. So I'm guessing that it's red and white, their strip. And then on this mural down here of the club emblem, it's got a date of 1st of June 1907. So that would have been when the factory was just starting to get bigger. The entrance is just around the corner up there, but as you come up to it, you've got this amazing monument. And right at the top, you've got the date of 1885. And you go down, Empresa Fray Bentos, Uruguay, Company Liebig, the German scientist, and I can't even see that. The extraction of meat lie big. And this is it. This is the visitor centre and the entrance just there. So I'm not too sure if this centre is open or not. It doesn't look like it. I was told by the tourist guide it'd be open till about 5 o'clock. So I've just found the door that's open and they let me in. And there is a, I don't know if you can see it, a model of the factory itself. I think she was closing up because she just turned everything back on, but in English. So Uruguay's got 2 material World Heritage Sites, Colonia del Sacramento and the Fray Bentos industrial landscape. So this covers 274 hectares, 30 industrial buildings, the workers' neighbourhood, the leisure area, and the piers on the Rio Uruguay. Wow. Right, and here it is. Oh, that's the place. Now, she did say to explore it best. I mean, I'm guessing she just spoke Spanish. Is to follow the road round that way towards the river, and then you'll be able to get a good feel for the place. So you got they got a restaurant, Museum Revolution. It's all happening down this way. Wow. So at its height, this place employed round about 5,000 people, over 30 different nationalities. So what I've read about this place is they haven't really touched it since it was closed down. So these are all the original buildings. So this is the music of the Revolution, Industrial Revolution Museum. Oh wow. Hola. Open from Tuesday to Sunday. Right. Is this part of the factory? Oh yes, look at that big boy. Size of him. That's a big old building. And on the side of it, that was the Anglo that I saw way back from the other side. It stands out a bit, and then it looks like it's got some lights that lights up at night, 1883 to 2023. And then you've got the pier. Wow. And they've got a little beach down here for their lunchtime breaks. I mean, I don't know how they'll get down, or even worse, get back up. But this was all where it happened. Fray Bentos pies all started off from here. Well, not exactly. So London decided that they wanted to have a factory over in UK. So they built one. Still working the one over here, but the one in UK started getting popular, and they started doing the pies there, taking the name Fray Bentos from the city and putting it on the front of the pies themselves. So although it's a British company and the pies were started in Britain, the factory itself is this one here. The sister one was the one in UK. All links in, but this is Fray Bentos. I've come back on the pier only because I had a look online to find out if there is a bridge going across to Argentina, and there is about 5 miles down, and I thought I'd better see it, but no. So you can go across to Argentina by the international bridge, but you can't see it. Damn. And I've just realised these cranes behind me, Thomas Smith and Sons, Rodley near Leeds, which is the UK. I don't think they're going now. So what I'm going to try and do now is to find if there's an entrance into that building to see any of the machinery. So this is another angle from the factory. And then you've got this that looks really modern. Oh. So I walked in, someone came over and said, yes, it's a laboratory, a chemical laboratory. She said, I need to go around here to some stairs. Wow, they're making stuff, chemicals. In fact, there you go. Technical lab. This is more like it. I mean, it's the colours of the football team, red and white. And all I'm doing is just following this path around here. Yeah, I mean, most of that is my reflection. Broken window. Oh wow. No idea what any of that does. Oh wow. Never have an open door for me. That just leads me into places. And I can hear noise. I hear voices as well. There is noise everywhere. There's not one single person here. I feel like I'm in a Scooby-Doo episode. So I think what it is loudspeakers giving you the impression of what it would have sounded like. I think. Like I said, there's nobody here apart from me. It's definitely loudspeakers. I'm not hearing things. I wonder what this was for then. Because you've got lots of stuff going down there. It still sounds creepy with that loudspeakers. So I've just sweet talked my way into this part. There you go. Corned beef. So this is part of the laboratory on the other side. Wow. Thank you. I thought I'd be polite. He did ask if I was part of the group. And I went, no. But it is time for me to go. The whole of Fray Bentos is amazing. Everything from the city centre, the Rambla, the main square, the architecture, and obviously this factory here. And that's why I like going off the beaten track, not just following the tourist trail to see what everybody else sees. But now I'm going to have a walk back to the hostel. It's probably about a 30-minute walk. I have my earbuds ready with music galore to listen to. And I will be leaving here tomorrow morning. But the 4.5 hour bus ride to get here, the next place, is only 30 minutes. Oh. And I'm going to a place where I actually came through to get here, and it's called Mercedes. It's another city, and what's there, I have no idea, but it's been recommended. Why not? I'll be there for one night, and then I'll be heading to Colonia del Sacramento, where I'll be there for 2 nights because it's my birthday. What a better place to spend your birthday. And then I'll be over to Argentina. I have a plan, and that's how it's going to go. So if you've enjoyed this video of Fray Bentos, the factory, and everything else, then all you got to do is press that like button. Don't forget to hype it. If you want to see more on my journey, then all you got to do is subscribe. But 30-minute walk back to the hostel. Bye bye for now.